Welcome to Windy City Meeples. I'm your host, Shane Gordon, and this is part of our continuing series of Where Did My Money Go? Kyle kind of shared with us where he has kickstarted some campaign games and then a second part of non-campaign games. So this is kind of my version of it. I haven't broken it up into campaign or not. I think I've backed lately a little less than he has. So we might fit it in here in one video. But so yeah, this is what I've backed on Kickstarter. This is all the stuff I've backed that I have not yet received. Anything I've received is not on this list. Some are still active Kickstarters. A lot of them have already funded and are just now in the production phase, or even recently funded and are in their backer kit phase. So obviously we're going to start here on our Windy City Meeples page. So we got the YouTube page, we got a Facebook, we got Instagram, we got the podcast, we got all that. You can always like, subscribe, contact us through email or any of the other formats. We'd love to hear from you. Like, I kind of view this is your channel too. If there's stuff you want to see, let us know. We can do what we can to try and cover it. We're just starting out. So we're going to grow and hopefully get better as time goes on, as tricks and tips, and watch other videos and kind of get some influence and some feedback from them. And so that's all we're trying to do, is just have some fun, grow this into whatever it's going to be, and hopefully you come along for the ride. So with no further ado, let's go back into where my money went. So first up here, we got True Vong Legends from Simon Games. This is a game that I kind of was getting into campaigny games, and I liked the idea of them. I'm kind of less on it now because I'm finding it harder, especially in this COVID time, to get together with people to actually go through a campaign instead of just getting a one-off shot. But as you can see, with all the Simon stuff, like it's going to have beautiful miniatures. Eric Lang was attached to this. I know there's been a bunch of reworking, so I don't know how much influence he still has in it, and of what he's helped create is still in here. But as you can see, it's tons of miniatures. It's supposed to be a world that you can change with your decisions. And so it has a map that has little clear plastic pockets on it. So if you do something that changes the world, you put that card over top of that location, and so you know that forever this is what you've done and this is how that place has changed. And it may change that you can't go there anymore. It may change so it has different options than it had before. But it's kind of a neat thing. But it also allows you to reset the game, where like something like Gloomhaven, I know they have the reusable stickers now, but it was pretty much you're going to rip stuff up like Legacy style. Rip it up, you're going to get one playthrough, and that's it. This one has a way of resetting it. You see you got the stretch goals for more minis. I mean, Simon is all about the minis. We all know that. So this was just what I'm kind of excited to see. I know it's in a lot of delays. It was supposed to be here in December. I think it's probably going to be another year or so at least before this comes out. But we'll see. So that's that one. Next, we got Frosthaven. Talking about Gloomhaven, here's the sequel. And it's going to be also, I think, delayed. Yes, it was supposed to be here this month. Definitely not going to happen. It's about, I think, a year out, the last I heard. So, if you played Gloomhaven, this is more of the same, beefed up. I've heard there's some very good tweaks done to it. And it's just, I mean, if you're a fan of Gloomhaven, there's nothing to say here. If you're not a fan of Gloomhaven, we're going to have to make a whole other video to dissect what's all in a game of Gloomhaven. Like, as you can see here, you're getting a ton of boxes of secrets. You're getting minis, you're getting cards, like, ton of map pieces. Like, this is a hefty box. Like, I don't know if you can tell from that, but this is a big box. On Instagram, I follow this, I think her name's Professor Meg. So she does some board game stuff, and she's a big Gloomhaven fan. Just to give you, she may be a shorter in stature woman, but she's a grown woman who can sit inside this box. No, you're not going to get the lid on her, but she can sit inside the Gloomhaven box, and this box is going to be more the same. So you're getting a big, big box full of stuff. It's heavy, and it's not going to disappoint what you get inside, though. Like, this game is a great slick system. I've never won a game where I felt where we ran away with it. It's always like you knew you only had a few more turns to finish that map. Like, he's created something great here. I have bought his Founders of Gloomhaven as well. I have yet to get that to the table because when I bought it, we were, I think, fairly new to a lot of types of games, and it was really overwhelming. I've done some research on it since, and I think we're going to get it to the table soon because it looks like a really good city builder as well. So next up, and this should be here soon, is something I'm really excited about, is Lawyer Up. It's a 2-player game where you play as the prosecution and the defense in a case. There's multiple cases. I think there's 2 in the game that comes with, and there's in the Kickstarter, which I believe I backed, there's a couple other cases. So I think I got a total of 4, maybe 5 cases. I'll have to look as we go through this scroll here. But each case is infinitely replayable, like, because you're drafting cards at the beginning of the game. You got your normal cards for that case, and then there's like a deck of cards that is kind of the arguments and evidence for that case. And each of you are going to draft 3 cards, or take 3 cards. You're going to draft 1 to your deck, give 1 to your opponent, and bury 1. So it's kind of a cool thematic thing where you're burying evidence, and you're kind of discovering evidence that'll help you. And obviously in Discovery, you're helping both sides, so you got to give them a little something, but you get to decide what you give them. So maybe you're giving the lower point cards and the lower powered cards. It seems really interesting. It's just for 2 players. It looks like a lot of fun. I can't wait to use these objection tokens here for when my wife plays an argument, or whoever I'm playing against. Usually it'll probably be my wife, and she plays an argument, and I'm just like, objection, judge. It'll feel awesome. It's fun. I think you can really get into it. The flavor text on all these cards seem really great. Like, I watched Rodney Smith do a how to play on this game recently, and he's like, you can role play it, which I'm sure if you're in a silly mood, kind of role playing with the flavor text and the objections and the sidebars to the judges. So I think this is going to be a lot of fun. It definitely is kind of a matching game. You're playing cards that match symbols on the previously played cards and trying to chain enough to gain you enough points to start swaying jury members to your side. And I think there are different end game triggers for different cases and what version of the case you want to play, because there's like a short, medium, and long version of each case kind of thing. But a lot of times I believe it's going to be whoever has the most jurors swayed their way will be the winner. But yeah, so here we got the witch trial, so I know I added that, the Godfather. So yeah, I believe I'm going to have 4 cases. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait for that to come, and like I said, that should be pretty much on its way soon. I can't wait to get that. I'll definitely throw a review up when we get it and get some plays down. Maybe I can convince my wife to do a playthrough with it with me on camera. That would be fun. But yeah, so that's Lawyer Up. Next, 7th Citadel. If anybody have played the 7th Continent, this is the highly anticipated sequel to it. I have the 7th Continent. I know the one night my wife and I tried to play it, but it was late, and I think it was a little too heavy for her to learn that time, but I was so excited that we just got it. So we're going to do it again. I think it's an amazing game. It's a little bit abstract in the way turns go, because it's kind of not like a turn order where it's like your turn, my turn. It's kind of like, well, I'm going to go over here and do this. And they're like, yeah, I'm going to come with you. Or, no, I'm going to go do this. And so then if people are going in different directions, you kind of decide who's going to do their part first. But it's an amazing, like, just the thought process and how they design this game and how it flows together so well is so impressive. And, like, the hidden stuff in 7th Continent where you could, like, be looking at a tile here and be like, oh, looks like a number written in the sand. And then you could go to like this and check. And if that number actually is, it'll have something on it like you got here from this tile. And you'd be like, yep. And so then you'd flip it over and it would create more options and more stuff for you to do. If you haven't played it, it's really hard to explain. Like, there's a ton of cards in it. It's definitely a very narrative-driven kind of adventure game. Has all these fantastical people in it. Like, and I can't see 7th Citadel being any less good. I've heard they may have fixed some of the gripes, maybe about the difficulty of 7th Continent or whatever, or maybe the save system or something. But they've fixed a few things, made it smoother and more streamlined. I think it's just going to be an amazing game. Another amazing game that we picked up in the last year or so was Cartographers. It's simple, roll and write. This one, I guess it's not roll because you're playing cards, but it's in the roll and write category. And anything to add more to that game is welcome to me because we love playing that game. Probably going to have to print off some own sheets soon or get a new refill of sheets. It's just a simple but fun game where you just play a card, pick which resource on the card you want to use, and then draw it in that symbol somewhere on your map. And the way you lay out your map, these scoring cards for the different seasons, I believe you score 2 per season. So you score these in the first season, these in the second, these in the third, and then A and D in the 4th season. It gives you a guideline of how to kind of build, but you have so much openness to how you build. And everybody playing the same game, getting the same cards that they have to use to build, will have totally different maps, totally different scores, and it's just a fun, quick game. It's easy to teach. It's, like it says, 1 to 100 players, so I mean, you never really are limited by how many people you have there, right? And just adding more to it is just going to be so amazing. There we're going to get the more map sheets, of course. But it just gives you more scoring systems, different tile type or terrain types. Terrain cards and stuff. Different monsters to interact with. I'm looking forward to this. And then you also see you got these different other maps. So you even got different styles of maps to deal with compared to just the straight rectangle of the beginning. You can see here there's 2 different sections here which will play differently. You got these little island type things here. So yeah, this is another great game we're looking for. I've not been disappointed. And look at that. Love it when a tray holds everything nicely. It's going to be beautiful. So the next game I got on my list is Radlands from Roxley Games. Being a Magic the Gathering player, this game to me is going to be kind of right up my alley. Everybody I've seen review it's that collectible card game element, but without having a deck build. You just have one deck between us, and we each draw from that deck, and then we play out in front of our buildings. Our buildings is our life. Basically, if you knock out all 3 of my buildings, kind of like the 3 Rings game, I believe it was, from Final Fantasy or Fantasy Flight Games, same kind of thing. That's how you win. You knock out their buildings. But you're going to be putting up defenders and doing little tactics and stuff. It looks really interesting. Looks really slick. The cards being, I believe, a plastic type card. So you don't even need to sleeve them because they're just really durable. It's just amazing that they've gone that route to like think of a way to like keep cards in good shape, especially for something that's going to have a lot of shuffling and dealing with. The art is awesome. The color is like, it's just the bright neon colors. Like, this just looks like a super fun game. Roxley, from everything I've ever played from Roxley, has been super slick. Like, they do a good job of getting their play testing done and making sure it's a well-balanced and fun game. So I'm looking forward to this. More recently that just ended is this Forest of Radgos. It's definitely a big storytelling game. It's less about combat and more about stories. I went with a higher pledge to get these miniatures instead of the cardboard standees. I know my other host, Kyle, wasn't a big fan of these, but I think it's not that they're bad. It's just a different art style. I think knowing that I'm a fan of the Miko and that it's very, I have like a very exaggerated kind of features, smooth lines, kind of art I seem to like. And these kind of fall in line with that, where they're not like super detailed to the point of like you see every chink in their chainmail and stuff, but they kind of have a cartoonish quality to them. And I believe that that's why I like them. I think they have that nice, I'll try to paint them. I'm totally trying to get into painting. So it'll be really cool to see this come. And just the whole idea of, well, you can see even Dice Tower gave them as their pick of the week for crowdfunding from both Z and Tom. So that's a pretty good accolade. It just, the whole storytelling sounds amazing to me, where it's not of, I'm trying to get here and win the game and get through it as quick. It's like, what kind of adventure and story am I going to go on through here? And so each time you play it, you're going to get a different story, hopefully. And it's all based on Slavic mythology, which it's something I've never seen before. It really kind of has me excited to check this out. It's a first-time publisher, I believe, and designer, so I'm excited to see what comes from them. It looks like it's a big labor of love in their family, this whole game. Started off as just something with him and his son and turned into this, so I'll be excited to see this come. Let me know what you think if you have joined Kickstarter any of these games and your thoughts on them. Next one is Regency, also just a recently ended Kickstarter. It's another small player game. Like, I've been looking for some smaller, quicker games to get to the table instead of always having the big box. Because sometimes you don't have a couple hours. Sometimes you just want to have a half hour, 40-minute gameplay. And so these are quicker and easier to get. Usually they're card-driven or dice-driven. And this one is card-driven, where you're being a regent and trying to attract citizens to your kingdom to be the winner. As you can see here, each regent has 6 symbols. They all have the same 6, but you want to be getting citizens that match that symbol into your kingdom. And when they're in there, there's a deck of cards that you use to attract citizens, but if you have certain citizens in certain spots, it unlocks the power of these cards so they can do other things besides attracting citizens. They can do stuff like let you steal citizens and let you maybe take 2 citizens or whatever. Like, it gives you more player powers and more flexibility with your cards. Instead of it basically just being a currency to attract people, it becomes double-edged sword, basically. You can attract, but you could also then, instead of using attract, I'm going to steal this guy from this person, or I know this person's going for this guy, I'm going to remove him from the citizen track and bury him in the discard pile or something. It just seems like it'll be an interesting game. I can't wait to get it. It should be fun. Paladins of the West Kingdom, City of Crowns, the expansion to Paladins of the West Kingdom. I really like this game. Unfortunately, I haven't gotten to the table a ton. The Paladins, that is. Obviously, City of Crowns isn't here yet, but what I've played of it, I've really enjoyed. Everything that Shem Phillips has done that I've played, I've always enjoyed. I would call him right now the king of the worker placement. He's always doing something innovative. I actually just watched a video the other day where they're talking about top 10 worker placements. And his previous game to this, Architects of the West Kingdom, was in the top 10 on all 3. I think it was it was all 3 host lists, plus they had like the viewers list, got to vote on it, and it was in there. So it's an all 4 list. It's an amazing like revamp of the worker placement thing. A lot of them praised it for you get 20 workers and you're not trying to gain more workers. It's like that's a normal worker placement thing, is you're trying to gain more workers so you can do more things, where this is just like you have a ton of workers, But now you can send some of your friends' workers to jail and steal them and stuff. And it was a great innovation, even with his Raiders of the North Sea, where it's place a worker, pick up a worker, was kind of an innovation at that point. And he just always finds new ways to not be stale with his worker placement mechanics. I would say I haven't played Viscounts. I have it, but that has yet to hit the table. But Paladins, I find the workers become a little bit more of a backseat. They're still in there, and they still drive part of the game, but they're more there as like an action selection, which I guess all workers are. But like, he's just amazing in anything he does. Like, and you also know that I love the Miko art, so you know I'm a sucker for these ones. So that's Paladins of the West Kingdom, City of Crowns. Definitely look forward to that. Anything that he puts out with the Miko so far, I've loved. I have yet to try his games without the Miko as the artist, but I've heard nothing but good things of Raiders of Scythia, or Cynthia, could be getting that wrong. And then I think Hadron's Wall is one of his latest ones as well. I've heard good things about that. I just have yet to see them and play them. But yeah, this is definitely what I'm looking forward to. And the next three, I believe, are all still active. We've got Meeples and Monsters. This game looks so much fun. They have, if you haven't seen it, watch this video. This is like one of my favorite Kickstarter videos ever. It's so cute and hilarious. And even I think at the bottom of this, they have almost like outtakes where they put them in different, like the Braveheart scenario and Lord of the Rings and stuff. Oh, and the Monty Python and the Black Knight scene from the Monty Python and the Holy Grail, man. That is like just classic stuff. They're really well done. I think it's funny. This game, I was not a big fan of Quacks of Quedlinburg when we got it. I'd played it before. I wasn't a big fan, but I got it for Christmas. I have since, because now I play it a lot with like my parents and people who aren't like hardcore gamers, and that makes my enjoyment a lot more fun because it becomes more of a social, fun game, light, where you can have a conversation, but you're still doing well. Where when I played it the first time, I was definitely with more hardcore gamers. There was less talking. Like, there is strategy, I guess, but I don't know how much strategy. I don't know why you can't be social, but I found it that way. So, and then I actually, because of how much I was enjoying it with my family, I did upgrade the components off Board Game Geek's Geek Up Bit set, and that has made my enjoyment like tenfold more. You don't need it to play the game, but I think it makes it so much better, and I am doing a video kind of highlighting it and giving you more of the pros and cons of it later, but I just thought this is a similar kind of thing. It's a bag building, but instead of pulling out little chits or ingredients, you're pulling out meeples. And then the meeples are used around the board to fight monsters, to build buildings, to upgrade to better meeples, to fulfill quests. And yeah, like right here, Ole Steines, Champion of Midgard, definitely one of the first games I bought. I used to watch that Will Wheaton's tabletop, and he showcased that game once, and I just loved it. The Valhalla expansion is amazing for it as well. Really, together, those two, I say, are necessities. The Mountain, I enjoy it, but definitely Valhalla and Midgard are, like, obviously you need Midgard, but you definitely, Valhalla really accentuates the game. And AEG's done a ton of stuff, so, I mean, like I said, Space, Mystic Vale. I played this War Chest. It was pretty fun. I played Point Salad. It's pretty good. Like, AEG's been pretty good too. So this has got good pedigree. I can't wait to try it. I think we're going to try and do a tabletop simulator playthrough of it. I know both me and the other host, Kyle, here have downloaded that. So we're just going to find a time to hopefully get to play through this game, and I think that'll be a fun time. But yeah, I can't wait to get this. Meeples and Monsters. It looks awesome. So another video I've recently done on Tabletop Simulator is Valeria Card Kingdoms. So this is a game that I've always known about, and also is a Miko illustrated game. And I never pulled the trigger on it. And then when it came to this Dark Sworn Kickstarter here, I looked at it and I'm like, man, this game always looks so good. And then I really looked into it and I'm like, wow, this is like Space Base, Machikoro. Like, it's a game that's simple to teach, but I think it has a depth that especially Machikoro does not have, where your paths to victory are different. Machikoro, if you see my other video, you'll see I talk about how it's just like it's a race to build a certain building that lets you manipulate your dice more, and whoever seems to get that most of the time wins the game. And there's not really a variety. You're always building the same landmarks. They always cost the same. Where Dark Sworn is a cooperative version of it, but if you focus on the Valeria card kingdoms, you have different ways. Like you have your Duke that really dictates how you might want to play the game, because it's going to give you how you're going to score some end game bonuses and stuff. So you might not want to slay as many monsters as the next person because maybe your bonuses are more based on the citizens you have, or maybe it is a monsters, or maybe it's you got a good return on your extra resources, so you might just want to be hoarding resources. So it gives you multiple paths to victory, and I love it. I never could find the game. I actually looked recently to try and pick it up, and it was like sold out in all of my normal places that I go to. I try to avoid Amazon for a lot of stuff, so I try like my local game stores. I try like Canadian retailers online, and it's just sold out everywhere. And so with this Kickstarter, being able to get the second edition reprint, plus if you look down here, well, you can get these awesome dice so that everybody has their own dice. So you got, well, you're gonna have 4 sets of dice, so maybe not everyone, but then you can get here like the Kingsguard expansion. It is out of print, like you can't find it. Same with the Undead Samurai, so you can get these. I added these on, of course. This is out of print as well, the Flames and Frost expansion. The Crimson Sea is almost out of print from what I've seen. I think it's out of print, but yet there's still some stock floating around. But definitely looking online, like this is sold out, sold out, sold out. Obviously out of print, they don't have it anymore. So this was a great way of getting into the game itself and getting a bunch of the older stuff that is hard to find, and the new expansion. So I can't wait to get this. Obviously this is going to probably be about a year away still. Actually, I stopped looking a long time ago on when they come. So it's just easier that way, so you're not always anticipating. And then last on this list, so hopefully this list hasn't been too long, but it seems like it might have been, is Everdell. It's the New Leaf and Mistwood. I didn't go with the complete collection because look at that thing go, eh? It just constantly going up. 17,000 backers already. I believe it's probably shattered anything they've done with any of their other Kickstarters. But this is definitely one of our favorite games. So I got it through the second wave when they did, or well, the second Kickstarter they did when they put out the expansion Spirecrest and Belfair. So I ordered everything at that point and got caught up to everything in the world of Everdell. And now I'm just picking up the New Leaf, the Mistwood. I'm getting the big box so I can keep everything in it, because that is definitely a plus to be able to keep it all in one instead of lugging a bunch of boxes around. And I mean, this game, the meeples are always so like awesome to have these different sculpts of meeples. It's great. I mean, my friend here, Kyle, just sent me a thing about, I guess they've added stickers. Not as excited about stickers. Silkscreen meeples, yeah, I'd probably be a little bit more excited with, but stickers rub off. Stickers don't get centered when you're the one putting them on, so I'm not as excited about that, but definitely I'm excited about this big box storage to have everything in there. I guess the stickers are coming with the big box, but and the other thing, I had a friend doing some printing before, 3D printing, but I've told him to lay off. Actually, no, I haven't. I should call him and say not to print him anymore because I'm not seeing it here, but somewhere there was... Yeah, I'm not seeing it anywhere here. Right? Oh, yeah, right there. The vessels for it. So that they're offering everything, that kind of stuff I was kind of getting them to print, and they've just offered their own version, and I'm like, that's great. $25, throw it on there. So I can't wait for this. So those are what I've kickstarted and I'm waiting for. I'm glad to hear what you guys have kickstarted, what you're excited for. If there's anything you definitely want us to review once we get them, just let me know, and we'll definitely, as soon as it comes, see what we can do to get some reviews or even just thoughts and playthroughs or whatever. So that's it for my time today. I hope you've enjoyed it. Bye for now. Keep playing games.